Yes.
And we talk about the survival mentality that the church gets in, believers get in. And you can choose to lean into this how you want, but because we're on the topic of vision and calling and purpose, I'm curious what you think the lack of vision leads the church into a survival mentality, and what your thoughts are even in that arena.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Thank you. I'm so excited for this right now. I don't know how in the world it's going to come out, but I just a people perish for a lack of knowledge that could be perceived as foresight, insight, or hindsight. You choose. We can go in either direction. Let me back up. I'm a self-proclaimed social scientist. There's these various mental models for stations of class. There's one for poverty, middle class, upper class. I really study the mental model of poverty. There's a distinguishment between the poverty mental model and the mental models of middle and upper class. Middle and upper class, they share something fundamental, and that's the way they process information. They are what's called abstract processors. They don't need to see it, they don't need to touch it to be able to conceptualize in the abstract what they want, what they believe. Our kids are going to go to college. They're not even born yet. So we're going to set aside a little bit of money, build our college fund, because we believe that when we have them, and by the time they come to the age of 18, that this constant sacrifice that we're making is going to lead to a situation where they're going to benefit from it and their lives are going to be set and da-da-da. All abstract, because we ain't even have the kids yet. Some of us are so abstract that as we're dating, the second phone call that we have, we mapped all that out. Abstract. But individuals that operate within the mental model of poverty operate in another form of processing information. They're called concrete processors. If they can't see it, if they can't touch it, they can't afford to invest in it. Get this, because it's a survival-based mentality. It's a survival-based mentality that's concrete within the way that it processes information. So if it can't see it, if it can't touch it, it doesn't have time to invest in it. So it lacks the luxury of the abstract to be able to see what has not yet manifested and to believe enough to invest in it, though they have not seen it. John 20 tells me something really interesting. If I had an organ, it'd be so good to come in right there. We see that the apostles are assembled after the death of Jesus Christ and have experienced him come back to them, and they're talking about it, and Thomas comes in the room. He says, "What y'all talking about?" They said, "The master has come back to us." Amen. There's real people out here that are really looking for us and really wanting to kill us and do us like they did him once they find us. That's real. I don't got time to play this game with y'all because y'all grieving, and this is probably how y'all going through y'all grieving process. Y'all having dreams. They said, no. We saw him. He was here with us. He said, listen, the only way I believe that he really has resurrected is if I see those wounds that affirm that it was him that went through what we know he went through. I gotta see the nail prints in his hand. I gotta see that wound in his side. And out of nowhere, the room is locked up, and this Jesus walks in the room. And says, "Thomas, I heard you. Come on, let's do this." No, here they are. No. Let's do this here. Come on, let's do this. Because I'm committed to you getting this full revelation of who I told you I was. And then Thomas says, my Lord and my God. Jesus' response is, I was here to do this for you, but blessed are they that will never get a chance to see what you saw. That's right. Or touch what you've touched, and yet they're still gonna believe. Thomas is a quintessential example of the concrete processor. That if he couldn't see it, if he couldn't touch it, he couldn't believe it, nor even invest in that thought. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where so many of us find ourselves. We don't feel like, because of the threat of our livelihood that's going on outside of the room. Yeah. That's what fueled that mentality, that survival mentality, because there was a legit threat against his life. Mm-hmm. And so he didn't have time to invest in that because he couldn't see, he couldn't touch it, but there's a real threat outside. You know, and so for so many of us as believers, we're experiencing some form of threat to our livelihood. Come on. That's right. And so for us to step out on faith, to step into the abstract, because this Jesus is this abstract character. He comes talking about this kingdom. And the folks that he's talking to, they're still trying to wrap their mind around, like, okay, when is this kingdom gonna come? Because Rome, they're going crazy. Even when he is resurrected in Acts 1 and he's about to ascend up, they're saying, yo, when is the hour where you're gonna come and restore Israel? He's like, what? No man knows the hour nor the day where the Son of Man shall appear. No, forget about that. Y'all need to stay together because I'm about to send the Holy Ghost. Yeah. Yes. So detached because they're so aware of the threat on their livelihood, so locked into that survival mentality, not realizing that he's trying to give them access into something that's beyond their terrestrial turmoil. And so as the believer, this promise that we have is, even if this ceiling crashes down on me and I die now, I instantaneously transliterate into the presence of the Lord. That's my promise. That's why I can live in a really different way here on this earth, free from the fear of death, hell, and the grave. And if I be convinced that that be true, that survival mentality doesn't belong with me because I don't perceive that stuff as a threat. So I can lean into the abstract with Jesus. I can lean into the things that have not yet materialized. I can lean in faith on what's not out there, believing that if I put my foot on it, that in some way, shape, or form, outside of my limited understanding of just the sciences, that he'll get up under it and he'll sustain me on that thing that I should be drowning in.